Alrighty. Hello everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to day 13 of Fantasy Fiction Fridays. I'm coming to you as usual from an undisclosed location, undisclosed Starbucks, and working on a short story today. So thank you guys all for being here. And I hope you hope to have some nice chats and discussions with all of you in the next couple hours while I'm working on this story. And tonight, Masters of the Dungeon at 9 p.m. Eastern, so that's what we got coming up tonight. You will hear that I'm right underneath a speaker where they're playing Garbage, so I will mute myself in between talking so that you can listen to the awesome Witcher 3 soundtrack and not the garbage that's playing in Starbucks. But anyway, if you haven't done so already, please tweet out the stream. Please check out the YouTube at !ArvTube, Steam group at !Steam group, Discord at !Discord, and please make sure to check out the Patreon, !Arvtreon, sitting at 400 right now. Love to see that go higher soon. And almost to 40 subs. If you can hit that sub button and subscribe to the channel, that also gets you some cool things too, and helps out the channel as well. So thank you guys. And let me actually get rid of this. And there we go. Hi everybody. You can see undisclosed location, Starbucks behind me. Also, let me get rid of that scroll. There we go. Why is that? That's interesting. That should not be looked that way. Hold on a second. One second. That should... Right, color key. There we go. That's more like it. Good. Better. Let's do it over black scroll. So, yeah, I don't really have anything awesome, exciting to say. Oh, I do have this, though. Today, we have this. This is the thing we will get for completing things in the story, so the incentive is there. Let's do it up.
Oh my god, I love it!
I want to pull up the thing that I'm using for this, because hang on a second. That Witcher OST, love it, absolutely love it. Alright, so let me show you guys what we've got. Alright, so let's take a look at the rules of this contest. This is a new thing. This is for Farpoint, which is probably the smallest convention that I go to every year. I didn't actually go last year, but they're nice people there, and there are a lot of local New York authors end up going down to that because we don't have a lot of New York locals around here. There's a convention called Lunacon that I went to last year, but they're not running it this year. So basically, Farpoint is one of the closest ones that we have, believe it or not. It's weird. We live in the publishing capital of the world, and yet we don't really have a lot of local conventions for this. I'm going down to Farpoint in February, next month, in a few weeks. And they're going to have this short story contest that they're going to basically put these stories online. I think they're going to print some of them in the convention book, although I'm not entirely sure how that works. And so they asked for a short story, and it's based on a picture. I also have to do a short story for the Origins convention, which I've just been invited back to, which is great. That's in Columbus every year. And I have to do a short story for them, and the theme is mystery. So I'm going to kill two birds with one stone and try to basically write one story for both. So we're doing some kind of a mystery thing, and it's based on a picture. So I'm going to pull that up so you guys can take a look at it. First of all, let's take a look at the rules. So the rules are, each author submits a short story, 2,500 words or less. 2,500 words or less. That's short. That is going to be short. Wow. 2,500 words or less. So that's basically, that's about... Hey, what's up, Miranda? How are you? Man, okay, 2,500 words. I didn't notice that it was that small. I thought that was the minimum. Okay, so the maximum is 2,500 words. So, 300 words a page about... no, it's a little longer than that. It's probably about maybe 7, 8... It's probably about 8 pages is what it works out to. It's about 8 pages, 8 manuscript pages for a short story. So that's, which is cool, that's fine. But I didn't realize it was that short, so. Yeah, no, it's not like flash fiction short. It's just that normally my short stories run a little longer than that. Usually my short stories run around 12 to 15 manuscript pages. But yeah, no, it's not like having me write a sentence or a paragraph. Alright, so 2,500 words or less. Trophies for first, second, and third place. Each attendee will receive a voting slip with their membership badge. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Manuscript must clearly indicate the author's legal name. Blah, blah, blah. It's delivered in any of the following formats. Must address the content of the provided photograph. Publication rights. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Oh, you liked it? That's cool, Miranda. Yeah, I'm telling you right now. Skill was where it was at, for sure. Even though luck does have use in that game, but skill is a bigger deal, no doubt. Okay, usage, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good, so that's all fine. So, picture, this is what we need. Let us download this thing. So, 2,500 words, and I'm going to show you guys the picture. So, remove that. Okay, short story font. Alright, so here's the picture. There is the picture. Alright, let me get a good sense of it. Interesting. Yes. The rules are to make a short story that is inspired by or based on this picture. And it has to take it into account. Now, I assume that they would not have an objection. I don't think I have to actually show a, kind of a, what do they call this, a sculpture, a wall sculpture, bas relief, or whatever. I don't think they have to make it that, but I would have to obviously have these 3 figures in there. See, the only thing is, the theme for, as I said, I wanted to do this for, I don't know if you were here when I was talking about this, Miranda, but I'm doing this for a contest, which, as I said, is for Farpoint. No, I can come up with a, no, I can do it. So Farpoint. Farpoint convention is next month, and so I'm doing a short story contest for this. But I also have an anthology that I need to contribute a short story to by March, which is for the Origins convention anthology that I've been in the last 4 years or so. I think 4 or 5 years. So I need to do a short story for that. The problem is the theme for that anthology is mystery. And so I had an idea for a mystery that I was going to write, but I think I might need longer than 2,500 words to set it up. Okay, so let me think. I want to do this. Three religious figures, I'm thinking. We've got a... Could maybe have a cardinal. We want something more fantasy style. Prelate. Let's do it this way. Let's say... Let's say that we've got a prelate. All right. Oh, that's what, you know what? I'm gonna have to readjust the window, the Microsoft Word window. I just realized why this didn't look right. And now I remember why. So give me a second, I'll get that fixed. Because I always do that. I have to reposition it on the window. I completely forgot that that's how I did that in the past. As I said, I'll be muting the mic in between talking so that you don't have to hear this music that's playing. So, yeah. Oh, which standards are we talking about here, Brenda? Right, whereas we get there and I'm like, you want me to write it in only 2,500 words? Yeah. It's true. What's up, Jay? How are you, man? How are you, sir? Good, okay. Now I've got this just about fixed. Lovely. Cool. Okay. Now we've got what I needed for this. Alright, so here we go. So we got three religious figures. Got a prelate. It's the guy on the left. Oh, I just figured out how to write. I just figured out what to write. I got it. All right. So. Oh my God, Jay. Oh man. Poor Jay. I know you've been dealing with being sick over the last couple of weeks, man. There's positive karma though, right? Like you're owed some good sleep now, right? Okay, so prelate. Left. Right, yeah, I guess you'll find out, right? Okay, guy on the left. not three religious figures. Religious figure is the guy on the left. That guy that's all the way over to the left. Guy in the middle will be a political leader. Let's say a caliph. And the guy on the right is... Guy on the right is a merchant. Head of the Merchants Guild. Nice, man. I'm glad that you're feeling much better, dude. You and Kilobyte both have been fighting through stuff. Okay. Guy in center. And the guy on the right is Merchants Guild. Guy on right. All right. And the hero works at hero is a goblin named Sherlock. No. Named Shek is too much like Shrek. Locke. Maybe Locke? Oh, that host though. Thank you for the host, Chatter. Thank you, man. Very kind of you, sir. Thank you, thank you. I saw Shatter. I've been doing work before I went live, and I saw you were doing Halo, so I'm really sorry that I didn't have a chance to stop by because I wanted to check that out. I got to get over to your streams more than I do. Just something about the timing means that I'm sometimes streaming when you're doing it, so sorry, dude. But I'll definitely stop by. DJ! Thank you for the host, DJ Flashpoint. What's up, man? What's going on, DJ? Both of these guys, for different reasons, are people you should know about, guys. Shatter, first of all, longtime mod on the channel, awesome guy, professional pilot, super cool, Elite Dangerous, and Halo streamer, so you guys should be checking Shatter out. And DJ, who is an actual DJ, is a really cool dude who is, he's funny because he's like, Rob, who is one of the people, of course, that DJ is connected to, Darkside Rob, that I've always said is one of the nicer guys on Twitch. I think DJ fits in that mold too. DJ's always been a really nice guy, so always a big fan of DJ. It was raging over your ability to speedrun anymore. Nice. Nice. Same as always then, right? God, son of a... Oh, man. Cool. All right. So for those of you who just came in, what I am doing is I am working on, so thanks for the host, guys. I am working on a short story for a contest for a convention that I'm going to next month called Farpoint, which is in Baltimore. And it's a new contest that they've inaugurated this year. And it's a short story of 2,500 words or less based upon the picture that you see on the screen. And the thing is, it's supposed to be based on that picture. And the thing is that I also have a convention anthology for Origins, which I just got invited to in Columbus again. I've been doing that the last few years, and I have to do a short story for them, and the theme for them is mystery. So I kind of would like to do kill two birds with one stone and have this story work for both. So that means that I need to do a mystery story that's based on this in 2,500 words or less. So that's what we're doing. So far, since I've just started thinking about it, we've got, let's see, we've got... Let's shrink this a little bit. So we've got Law. What is up, Law? How you doing, man? What is up, sir? Good to see you. How are you, Let's Law? I haven't talked to you in a while, man. How's life? Okay, so the prelate is the guy on the left, the caliph is the guy in the center, head of the Merchants Guild is the guy on the right, and the main character is a goblin, and gotta think of a name. I'm trying to think of a cute name that isn't too cute. New job is awesome. Nice, dude. Remind me what job it is again, Law. What law are you doing? I know you... What law are you doing? What job are you doing? I know you told me this, but... Please remind me. Okay. Protagonist. Goblin. Janitor. Called. What's up, Nonstop? How you doing, man? What's up, bro? Hey, Nonstop, I wanted to pass on to you. Oh, a TSA. Nice. So if I ever go and have to pass you in an airport, Law, you know I'm good, right? You know you and I totally safe, totally good, right? Nonstop, I wanted to tell you that I wanted to thank you for using inspirations over at GOG and watching over there, because your inspirations have always been really useful. Anyway, my players wanted to tell you thank you, because you always got those clutch inspires when they need them. So you get fired on the spot. Yes, but I would get through security, and that would matter the most. Eyes on the prize, Law. Is this about your job, or is it about my convenience in security? I actually am going to apply for I'm going to apply for the all clear. Basically, the thing you pay $80 for 5 years, and then you get pre-clearance. Because I'm going to be doing a fair bit of flying over the next couple of years, and I hate dealing with, like, I don't like flying anyway, and I just hate the whole airport security nonsense. So anything I can do to streamline that is better. I know, right? Nonstop? That'll be its own side quest to get his finger back. Witch Hunter book. Oh yeah, Esper Genesis? Yeah, Jay. Yep. Is that what it's called? TSA pre-check? There's two. It's like pre-check, and then there's another one like TSA clear or something, right? Isn't there a second one? There's pre-check and there's something else that my father-in-law was telling me about. Anyway. Okay, I thought he was telling me there was one other one. Is that what it is? Global clear? See, I don't know if there's one for domestic and one for international. So I don't know. There we go. Sherlock. Or Schlock. No. Nice, Law. That's awesome, man. Okay. Yeah, you should totally stream those, Law. Those are awesome. And especially with, yeah, I mean, D&D streaming is blowing up, as you might have noticed. Can you imagine Law doing an in real life stream of a pat down? Alright guys. Chad, what do you think of this pat down, Kappa? How long would it take him to A, get fired, and B, get sued? I'm guessing the over-under is like 10 minutes, right? Yeah, but I think... But pat downs are not supposed to be... You're allowed to request a private pat down. You're allowed to request like a private security inspection. And I can't imagine that that would fly with live streaming. Also, I can't imagine that most judges would be cool when you're supposed to like randomize everything with people actually... I don't know. Maybe we should all do it because then it will get rid of these... With apologies, Law, with these unnecessary, ridiculous security screenings that have little effect. I'm sure you are doing a great job, don't get me wrong, but in general, I'm not going to get into it because I just don't want to, I don't want to get into it, but these things are, as they say in the business, these things are kabuki theater mostly, so I'd certainly rather do the pat down. I'm not going to go through that what is that thing, the scan 3-dimensional deal? So, I don't remember the name of that thing. So, I usually have to get the pat down if I'm going through. Fortunately, when I'm traveling with kids, I don't have to worry about that because they're a lot more lenient when you're with kids. And so that helps, but... Yeah, I don't know how it would work. I mean, and the thing is, they could say that it's just an employee doing it on his own and not, like, officially from TSA. But still, like, can you imagine the public backlash on top of everything else? Like, I don't think that would fly. It would be a good way to go out as a blaze of glory, though, Law. So if you ever want to quit your job, that's the way to do it. Just be like, all right, here we go. Streaming it on Twitch. And then just drop the mic and literally walk out the door. Be like, see ya. Thanks. Hey, what's up, X5? I know, right? An aquarium bath. No, I'm at an undisclosed Starbucks location. This is just the picture behind me. You got to admit, Law, that's an epic way to leave. That's more than just the thank you for the opportunity. Like I'm the hell out. Here, I just live streamed this pat down. Yeah, I think that's basically what we're saying. Exactly, Jay. It's I guess it's a mural, but it is actually, these are actually photographs that are just blown up and put on this. So I guess I guess it's a combination, like, it's a collage, really, is what it is. It's a collage. Yeah, it's an epic way to burn bridges. Yeah. No, if you're changing jobs and you're moving into like writing for Revolution Now or something law, then it would be perfect, right? Ex-TSA officer, proves the need for free speech or something. But only if you're making that kind of shift, right? Yep, true that, X5. I feel like Law has I feel like Law created his username and then has spent his time now with his career. Every time I hear about the new thing that he's doing, it's like closer and closer to his username. So it's a good thing you didn't name yourself like Punch and Face Guy or something, or we would never hear from you again. But instead you're just like, it's Law. So now you're like, I'm working for TSA. The next thing you'll just be like, I'm the Attorney General of the state of California or whatever, Yep. I know that, but it's moving in that direction, Marinda, is my point. I know that. But it's moving in that, it's heading towards that space, Next he can work for like ATF, then FBI, then he can arrest our fascistic illegal president and, step by step. Do you work with like frustrated policemen, Law, like people who basically want to be FBI like enforcement agents, but they ended up doing TSA and they're not running around like getting to do enough FBI things, I feel like for you, you get treated a little bit differently, right, Shatter, because of your status as a pilot. They sort of, you don't have to go through quite the same level of, or am I wrong about that? Yeah. Oh, okay. Good. That's good, Mom. Shatter, please tell me that you called him a plebe. Did you say like, you're asking for my boarding pass? I make this place run, plebe. What's up, Bison? How are you? Sleep well, man. Thank you for saying hello. It's good to see you. You know, I haven't. Although I don't usually drink coffee is the thing. I don't drink coffee. I drink or espresso. I drink tea. So I have an English breakfast right here that I'm nursing. But oh, nice, Shatter. Hey, Tobik, what's up? I am working on a short story, Vison, for a convention contest. I'm going to Farpoint convention next month, and they're having all the attending authors are submitting a short story for a contest that are going to be voted on by the attendees. And so I have to write a story. Oh, and also I have a story that I need to write for the Origins convention that I go to every year, the convention anthology as well. So I'm trying to write one story that will hopefully work for both. So the convention, the Origins themed anthology, the Origins anthology theme is mystery. And then for Farpoint, you need to write something based on the picture, which I will expand for you guys. I need to write a story that's based on this or inspired by this picture. And it needs to be 2,500 words or less. So that's where we're at. Shatter, that's hilarious. Yeah, so that's what that's about. Let's see. Funny. Yeah, or encountered Farpoint. Actually, Farpoint has been running for quite a while, Vison, I think about 20 years, but it's very small. It's actually got a decent bang for your buck in terms of people that show up there, like media guests and author guests and stuff. It's probably the smallest convention I go to. It's probably like 200 people, maybe. The next smallest, I would imagine, is probably like Ad Astra is probably like 400, something like that, maybe 500, and then everything else goes up from there. ReaderCon is 1,000, Origins is like 20,000, Gen Con is like 70,000, Worldcon is usually about 5,000-6,000, World Fantasy is usually about 1,200-1,300, so yeah. Actually, you know what, Jay? I'm actually trying to think of something. I was trying to think of something which was more relating to Sherlock. The problem is that he's a goblin, so I was thinking like something angular at the end of the name, like with a K. So I was thinking like Shirk, but if I do like Shek, like S-H-E-K, then it sounds like Shrek, and I don't want to do that. And Shirl sounds dumb and not like a goblin, so. You know, I may change the name, but we'll see. Yeah, did she admit that she was wrong afterwards, Shatter? Yeah. Oh, okay. Goblishek. Goblishek. But see, that sounds too dramatic, Tobik. Like, Goblishek, Goblin Hero. Like, he needs to be simple monosyllables, you know? Sirluck? The problem is that one, that's a little too on the nose, And two, it sounds like I'm calling him Suck, which that's funny, but I can't call my goblin Suck. That would be problematic. Groblar, son of Ulfgar, grandson of Ungren the Flatulent. I think goblins would probably get to Groblar and be like, what? Before they get to anything else. The mystery, I think, is going to be about the death of 2 or maybe 3 of those 3 guys, Marinda. I'm not sure, though, if we're going to get the mystery part in. If not, I'm just going to have to write another story for mystery, but I'm hoping I can do both, so we'll see. Sounds good. Sleep well, Bison. Big Lurk. Big Lurk. He's so big he gets 2 syllables. Yeah, I like it, Tilbic. I like it. I think rappers, it means the opposite. Well, I thought about, instead of playing off of Sherlock, I thought I could play off of Holmes as well. But then the only thing I could think of would be like Homie. Homie, don't play that. And I'm like, no, that's not a good idea. Also, it doesn't have the angular sound that I want for the goblin name, so. Sour Luke, Sarwark, Sorlark. Problem is though, Jay, it needs to be monosyllables. Needs to be 1 syllable. Can't have a polysyllabic name. The goblin's got to have a. I mean, it doesn't have to, but I would like him to have a single syllable name. You know, like Share, Sting, that type of thing. Yeah, that's a good call, Marinda. One of the reasons I don't do that, it's why I try not to do that, though, is because for me the name also helps create part of the personality. because I do think that people sometimes, the names are so much a part of who we are that our names and our identities, same thing on Twitch, our names and our identities kind of flow into each other. So that's one of the reasons why I always like to have the name up front, because it allows me to visualize the character and his or her reactions better.
Are you done?
Slark Humes. That's not bad. That's not bad. Slark isn't bad. But the only way it works to get the Sherlock feel is if you add in whom's, and I don't know, but that is pretty funny though. I like that. That should be, that's like a band name or a porn star name. You know? Oh yeah, that's perfectly reasonable way to do it too, Miranda. Yep. Hey, beautiful bear. How you doing, beautiful bear? Hello, hello. How are you? Oh my god, beautiful bear. I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Gotta get yourself vitamin C and rest and tons of water stat, man. True, Tobik, that's true. Writing is going well. I just gotten underway, but I'm starting to roll in my head. Oh, that sucks. Thank you as always, Elias, for the retweet. By the way, as I've said, you're like one of my champion retweeters. So thanks, dude. I always appreciate that. That's definitely helpful. Thank you. Oh, my chat was broken. Whoops. Sorry. Sorry, my chat was broken. I was wondering why everyone suddenly went silent. Okay, hang on a second here. Name my character based on their concept, 50 languages, search for goblin, chat frozen, help the chat, being frozen is good, texting, can't read, it's a worse issue, order a pizza. That's how it works. Streaming, chat messed up. Always happy to get the message. I'll follow you for pizza. There we go. Okay. Woof. Alright. Sorry about that, guys. I like Rutoni chat, but sometimes Rutoni chat does weird stuff. And I need to be clear about that. I was like focused on the story. I'm like, I guess everyone is just mesmerized. But no, you guys are still chatting away. I did not realize. My bad. It was actually just a subtle way to get you all to send me pizza. I just pretend that it's like frozen chat, you know, to this undisclosed location. Your spam machines, yeah. You like playing this game? I am not in a burrow, Law. I'm currently not in a burrow. What kind of a happening? What's green and turns red when you push a button? I don't know, Chaotix. What is green and turns red when you push a button? Le Cake. He's a French-Canadian goblin. That's a good one, Toby. Le Cake. Oh, man. I haven't heard a kill frog joke in a long time, Chaotix. They used to have that, or the baby jokes, which were also equally horrific. Law. You know what? But I hadn't thought about them for a long time, Chaotix. It's funny. But we used to, when I was a kid, they were all kill a baby jokes instead of frog jokes. Well, it's a letter from a guy who spends most of his time thinking about himself, Chaotix, so I'm glad you're triggered. Great success in that case. You guys think too much on the nose? Yeah, get rid of the kappa. Thanks for the host, Dave. I appreciate it, man. You, of course, will see Dave tonight on the Masters of the Dungeon show. Yeah, get rid of the kappa. I'm just joking. I'm not actually going to call him Trump. Long tip. Yeah, I thought about it, Chaotix, but it's too much on the nose. And it would raise a whole other set of things that I'd have to deal with for a pretty short story, but I thought about it. I should just call him Baron Crace Kappa and just watch as the Twitch likes pour in. Yep, that classic OST. Okay, sounds good, Law. Oh, I almost forgot we reached a page. So our incentive food for the day. Good stuff. Need some cocoa? Yeah, I just had my tea. No, he didn't inspire the comment because I was going to reference it anyway, but probably the extremity of the comment was increased because of that. self-absorbed fop was something I wanted to add. Self-absorbed fop I added in based on Chaotix's comment. But I was going to have him talk about the self-absorption anyway. But I give Chaotix gets credit for self-absorbed fop. You're my inspiration, Chaotix. Chaotix inspired me to write self-absorbed fop. There you go. What do you think of that? I'll just say it that way. When I think of Chaotix, I think self-absorbed fop. No, I'm just kidding. Just joking. True. Yeah, exactly, X5. It's because Norway is a high-class country. You need those damn raisins. Okay. Sounds good, Chaotix. Sounds good, X5.
Wolves asleep amidst the trees. Bats all asleep in the breeze. But when soul lies anxious, wide awake, fearing all manner echoes, nights and days.
No, thee would be if I were speaking to the Baron, like thee. This is what this is what we believe. This is what I ask of thee. But otherwise, if it's just being used in this way, it's as a linking word. It's the Baron with no single e.
Girl, we were having fun too. You can be cray cray. It's okay, don't cry.
What's up, Shinken Man? I won't say the classic "there are no bad questions," but that is not a bad question. What is my take on recurring exposition? Well, it depends on what you mean, because to answer that question, I would need to know a little bit more about how you're defining the term exposition. So, exposition often is used to explain description, as in this is what they were going through, this is this is the details of the environment, this is the stuff that was happening, here's the plot, that sort of thing. What you're talking about in terms of concept actually doesn't necessarily apply in exposition. It's very in fact it's frankly pretty ham-handed to just be like, and therefore the meaning is this, right? That's kind of amateur hour stuff. So in terms of exposition itself, I try not to overdo it, because I want, less is more, and I've actually had to learn to reduce my writing, because in academic work, you want to be very clear and, and the concepts are very difficult to just summarize into this means, this, whatever. You need to be able to explain it in more detail. In writing, though, especially in short story writing, less is more, and so you need to cut down on that. So I try to not overdo the exposition, but I've always tried to keep the concepts as things which are suggested by the story, but not necessarily hit on the head. right? So not literally said like, and therefore be kind to others because this, like I try to avoid the very kind of moralistic, let me give you the moral of the story, Aesop's fable type of thing, most of the time. So yeah, I guess there is a little bit of trusting the writing in that, I suppose. But a lot of it has to do with how well you can create that impression. Also, my message that I'm trying to send does not always equal the message that the reader's going to get from it, right? Sometimes the reader will get from it a very different thing than I intended, and that's fine. Because when I'm done with a story, it's no longer only mine. It's a story which is between me and you receiving it on your end. And you will receive that story differently based on your own personal circumstances, your own experience, your own history. So it is my work, but it's your reception of my work that matters, right? And so, in that sense, that's why you have to be careful about not being too heavy-handed with it. It is possible to have more heavy-handed messages delivered, but it usually doesn't work out well unless you have particular kinds of writers. Hello, Octavia. So I hope that answered the question, Janet. And it's not a bad question. Never seen me before. Oh, well, pleasure to meet you. No, I don't think I'm new. I've been streaming on Twitch since 2012. But I've done a set of creative writing streams on here since, I've been probably doing those for about a year and a half or so. Yeah. So I try to do a stream, if I can, at least a creative writing stream once a week, which we call Fantasy Fiction Fridays. I'm a fantasy author. I also do a lot of streams of D&D and other stuff like that. I stream usually 3 times a week. And then if I do the creative writing stream, then that's 4 times. So, yeah, pleasure. I stream probably writing once a week, and then the other stuff I stream is usually either games or Dungeons & Dragons role-playing type stuff. All the games I play, though, tend to rely on like heavy RPG and narrative elements, like lots of story and narrative elements. So, join the writing community here on Twitch. Well, because I don't know if I knew that there was a writing community. I mean, I know about the creative writing and the writing creatively communities. Like I put those in as tags and stuff. But is there another creative writing community that I'm not aware of? I would love to know about it. I've popped around and watched some people, but it's just called writing? That's interesting. It's possible that I maybe just missed. Let me check. Maybe I missed that when I was looking at the communities. Let me check it out. I kept putting in creative writing, and maybe that's why. So bear with me. I will look for that right now. Skip out of that. See, right now I only see just writing. I see Writer's Lounge, I see creative writing, which I'm already doing, I think, and I see writing creative. But the numbers that I saw, I did writers creative. So you're talking about writers? Are you talking about, is it called writing creative or is it called just writing? And then I'll answer your other question in a sec, Jing. Thank you, Zitsupera. Thank you for the host. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Huh, okay. Because it looks, on my screen, it's showing that there's nobody in it right now from what I'm seeing. But, you know, who knows? Maybe it's Twitch being Twitch. Anyway, I updated it to include that, so thank you for the tip. I have updated it accordingly. Okay, let's see. 7 Dragon Balls that can resurrect people, which is important. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I don't think you need to have that continue throughout the story, no. I think, in fact, if it's something very distinctive like that, I think that it's the kind of thing that when it comes up, it's something that shouldn't be forgotten by the audience, especially if it's in a short story. Maybe in a novel, if it's kind of an obscure thing, you know, if it has to do with like the arrangement of a religious order or something like that, then that might be the kind of thing you might mention more than once. But most of the time, if you're talking about something significant like, you know, like what you just described, that's the kind of thing which ought to be able to come up front. I'll also say that's not something which should come up front. That's not something you should necessarily put up there at the beginning. We call that an info dump, when you put a lot of information and exposition basically all at once and up front and are just sort of like dumping it in the laps of people and saying like, here you go. That's not a good idea for multiple reasons. You want to let that stuff come out organically. So a fact like what you just described is something which maybe early, middle of the story might come up. It depends on the story, but might come up so that then people have had a chance to kind of get invested in the world before you start giving them facts. Yeah, I kind of agree, Octavia. It depends. I was actually on a panel a couple of years ago that talked about strong methods of exposition, like ways to use exposition. So yeah, it is possible, but I would agree that less is more, and you wanna keep it at a low level if you can. That's when a lot of people talk about showing, not telling the story. That's oversimplifying it, but telling the story is what happens when you use lots and lots of exposition, as opposed to showing us what's happening within the story, in which exposition becomes less important or non-existent. So you definitely want to reduce, to the extent you can, the amount of exposition necessary. I agree with that. Specialize in tragedies. Very nice. Nice to meet you as well. So do you, Octavia, do you stream regularly on Twitch? Do you stream writing regularly on Twitch as well, or not? I teach a course in revenge tragedy, and I teach courses in Shakespeare as well. So I'm always glad to hear about people who are working in tragedy. I don't stream, I'm just a writer. Cool though. That's cool though. Very nice. A paranormal romance. Very nice. What are you expecting for word count? Are you expecting very, very long, somewhat shorter? What are you imagining? Novella length. Cool. Sure, lay it on me. Sorry, I don't know if that, I might have been muted there. So yes, sure, lay it on me. Oh, thanks, Marinda. I appreciate that. Okay. All right, cool. Chapter 1. Cool. Thank you for the follow, Octavia. Welcome to the Argonauts. If you guys want to find a place that does a lot of fantasy-style novellas and novelettes, I would recommend going over to Tor.com, which specializes in that. They obviously do short stories, but they also do novellas and novelettes. Actually, my friend Brad Bollier, who has a series with Daw and who I used to co-host Speculate with, he actually has a novella that he co-wrote with Rob. Oh gosh. I'm trying to remember which, another writer that is a mutual acquaintance, and they co-wrote it and posted it on there. Also, Mike Underwood, my friend who hosts Speculate with me right now, is also Capoeirist Mike and/or Turbo Tango on here on Twitch. He also wrote a novella which is on Tor.com as well. That's just speculative fiction, obviously, but that's kind of my bag. So. Okay, that's cool, Octavia. I'm happy to have you in whenever you can be here. I'm going to be streaming for another hour and 20 minutes, probably, Chaotix, I believe. And then I'm going to have to close up shop at that point because I've got to going to have to pick up my daughter from school at that point. And then I'll be on tonight at 9 p.m. for Masters of the Dungeon, episode 4 tonight, with Askren from Exploding Dice, and Dave from the Digital DM, and Accidental Legend, Louise Moore, who is a really cool role player and dungeon master, is going to be joining us as our special guest. The classic reverse the name. There you go, Miranda. I can jump on Discord. Oh yes, we do, Shingun. Yeah, we play 5 of the. Well, actually, Chaotix. Yes, I will jump on in about. Give me like 2 minutes, and I'll jump on there. I can't jump on with my mic though, because it's going to foul up everything with. OBS, but I can pop on and see what you guys are doing text-wise. As far as what I play Dungeons & Dragons campaign that's 5th edition, The Rise of Tiamat. I also am an officially sponsored streamer of the Adventures in Middle-earth Wonderland Adventures campaign, which is based on J.R.R. Tolkien's work. That's Adventures in Middle-earth, which is based on 5th edition, but it's its own system. That's released by Cubicle 7. And next month, I'm going to be starting an official campaign of Esper Genesis, which is another 5th edition based but different system space RPG, and I'm officially sponsored by that also. And then occasionally I do Fighting Fantasy gamebook playthroughs. I've also done Advanced Fighting Fantasy on here. I tend to do though 5e or variants of 5e because I love that system, and so yeah. Okay. Okay, so I will be right back to you guys then. Again, guys, just a quick reminder, I'm just quickly checking in about something, and I will be right back to you guys, so bear with me. Okay. I'm back. I am back. Okay, let's see what we got. We'll catch up here. I seem like a pretty well OSR. Oh, yeah, old school Renaissance. So I don't actually know, Chingan, that I know exactly what you mean. Do you mean literally old school Renaissance literature? Do you mean old school role-playing Renaissance, which I think I've heard of? Like, you mean going back to like 2nd edition, 3rd edition type playing, I think might be what you're referring to? I'm not 100% sure. And as far as Greyshade is concerned, there is exclamation point Greyshade, but I have to say that there are some changes on the horizon in terms of where Greyshade is going to be available from. So right now, your best bet, I think Greyshade actually, if you were to, let's see, there's no ebook version right now that's currently available for it, unfortunately. You can get it through Amazon, but not through ebook format at the moment. There are, as you can see, 2 used copies, which are available in paperback, but not ebook. And again, I can't get into details about this yet. Oh my God! Well, there's one that you can afford. One of them is at $216. Good God! It has to do with changes in the publication history, is basically what I would say. Now, I do actually have a couple of copies myself. And if you, like, not on ebook though, but I do have a couple of copies that are available through print. So if you ever wanted to go that route, you could drop me in a private message and I could talk to you about shipping you a copy, if you're willing to pay a touch for shipping. But if it's in the United States, I usually pick up that cost myself. If it's international, then I usually have to ask for people to support a little bit. But yeah, so the only thing I'll say is that that situation is going to be resolved as soon as I can have it resolved, but it's not totally within my control right at the very moment. So I'm sorry to be so mysterious, but it's just I can't talk about it too much publicly as to why there's not more about it going on. So, sorry. But yes, Chaotic speaks the truth. Chaotic speaks the truth. I appreciate your interest in it, though, and like I say, I do have some copies. It's just I don't have e-copies. So, sorry. Okay, where was I? There we go. Oh, and was I right, Chingan, about what you meant with old school Renaissance? Were you talking about old school Renaissance like role-playing? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, dude, I appreciate that very much, Chingan. Thank you. It would take a while to arrive in the mail. Yeah, I understand. Man, I'm sorry. I wish that I had a better answer for you. I mean, this is not a long-term thing. This is not something that you're not going to be able to get this for 5 years or something. But I can't go into more details about it yet. I'm not at liberty to talk about it yet, but soon. And it will be available again soon, somewhere. But I have to be a little circumspect about it. So I apologize that I can't be more specific. Publishing, I'll just say, publishing is a thing. But I do have print, so I'm just letting you know, if you decide you still want to check it out, drop me a line and we can discuss. As far as the OSR thing, I mean, I've played every edition of Dungeons & Dragons from 1st edition all the way through 5th. I've played and GM'd every edition except for 3.5. I played a little bit of 3.5, but I never DM'd it. But 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all of those I did. And I have DM'd I played some Shadowrun, I played some Advanced Fighting Fantasy rules, some Cosmic Patrol. I have done a lot of the Fighting Fantasy game books, the Lone Wolf game books as well, the Sorcery game books by Steve Jackson. So I've done a lot of that kind of stuff, and I've been DMing now for almost 30 years. And in fact, if you like stuff like this, the Masters of the Dungeon show that I'm doing tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern with a bunch of other experienced DMs will give you a chance to talk about that, or to listen to us talk about it. Also, I should say that I do Dungeons & Dragons with viewers. I do like a one-shot adventure every other month, so I'll be doing that again next month, and if you want, you can pop over and check that out as well. But I like old school, I love the older editions. Obviously, I grew up with them, so I love the older editions. I still think that 5th edition, though, in my opinion, is the best edition that they've made. I didn't love 4E. I liked 1st and 2nd edition, but they were both kind of clunky because they were, earlier on. They still felt a lot of the wargamey roots. 3 was I thought a solid edition. 3.5 was getting too crunchy. I thought they got obsessed with multi-classing and with adding in more components and elements and everything, and eventually, as you know, that became Pathfinder. 4th edition was interesting, but they kind of zoomed the pendulum all the way back the other way, and they tried to make it into a war game again, and make it into like basically tabletop miniatures instead of making it into what I think it's best at, which is a theater of the mind type thing. And 5th edition, I think they nailed it. I think all of the good systems that I've seen that use 5th edition as a foundation is proof of how strong the system is. It allows you to tell stories, it's much faster moving, there's still great combat that happens within it. You can use more or fewer miniatures if you wish. You don't have to be slave to carrying around boxes of miniatures. You can actually get people up levels without having to take years and years to do it. So, so I am a 5e evangelist. I like 5th edition a lot. Hey Thorg, what's going on, man? Get an easier face to draw? What do you mean? Are you drawing my face? What is my face too like? You're like, oh God, I can't handle this face. Like, what CDs did you get at the thrift store, Thorn? Yeah, you know what, Chingen? I heard about Lamentations of the Flame Princess, but I don't know much about it at all, but I heard someone talking about that the other day. It might have been Eric Vulgaris, who's a previous guest on Masters of the Dungeon and does D&D streams on Twitch. I can't remember who I heard talking about it, but what is it like? I needed to practice, don't you? I feel like that's like that's like the alternate history version of Conan, right? Like, Conan, what is best in life? To crush our enemies, drive them before you, and hear the lamentations of the Flame Princess. Ah, that is good. It's super easy and fast. Nice. Ah, Ninja, beautiful bear. Ninja. Right, right. So you've been playing in it, Shingen, or game mastering it, or DMing it? Yes-ish, Marinda, but I actually think it's a better storytelling system than people give it credit for, because I think the combat can work flexibly within the system, and that's one of the big things 5e has done to streamline. The advantage-disadvantage mechanic and the inspiration mechanic is brilliant. I can't even tell you how those two changes have really helped streamline the storytelling, so that now I would say that D&D is a good storytelling system, actually. But I know what you mean. But, 1E was kind of clunky. Forget about 4E. I mean, 4E was very combat heavy and slow. But 5E, I don't know, I feel like they have addressed a lot of that stuff. See, I don't agree with you there. I think that there's actually lots of political interaction. Marinda, if you've been watching any of the Infinity and Beyond streams, you've been seeing like the stuff we've been doing with the Lord's Council and stuff like that, the Lord's Alliance, all that stuff that's happening. There's a lot of politics going on there, because I love political intrigue myself. So, yeah. Sinatra's greatest hits, Sinatra, Tony Bennett, Nat King Cole, Wynton Marsalis, Aladdin, Lion King, Clapton, Eagles, Journey, greatest hits. There's some good stuff there. You decided to really... Thor, you decided to go off on some classic with Sinatra and Tony Bennett, huh? Come fly with me. Nice, Thorg. I agree with that, but I think the other thing I'd say about that beautiful bear is that, quite honestly, the stuff that needs the attention from a rules mechanical point of view is the combat, right? And the magic system. Like, the storytelling, obviously, to me, is the most important aspect of any RPG, but that's the thing that, in a way, you need the fewest direct rules for. If anything, you need rules to be able to have it interact with combat and figure out ways to address that within combat, but there's not as much that's necessary for the role-playing itself. I think one of the beauties of something like 5th edition is that it reduces the amount of crunch that was... I mean, like, skill checks and skill tests and things like that do obviously apply in non-combat situations, but a lot of the role-playing that happens, the political intrigue and all that stuff, is happening between Dungeon Master and player. And frankly, I want rules that get out of the way of those interactions. What I want is a rule which streamlines combat, which makes it easy for me to manage combat and to visualize skill tests and skill checks and things like that, but still gives us an opening to allow us to do role-playing on our own terms without the rules getting in the way. Like, I don't like heavily mechanical role-playing systems where you're like almost every interaction becomes a die roll. That I don't think is good role-playing, and it's certainly not good streaming. So having something in the middle there actually really helps. Yes. But you can have opposing skills or attributes, of course. You can have strength tests and all that sort of thing, and you can do deception and intimidation, I know that. But my point is that the bulk of the rule set is really based towards streamlining, sort of making mechanical combat, even the spell systems. And so I think that's fine. Interestingly, the Dungeon Master's Guide is really more about the world building. So really, the player's handbook is more like streamlining combat mechanics and character building. DM's Guide is really world building, if anything, and like constructing more of the world, providing lore, providing story hooks, things like that. So you have sort of two mechanisms that exist there. On a cassette tape, nice. No problem. No problem, beautiful bear. I saw it on stream. You're talking about the thing that, yeah, the thing that you posted, right? Are you talking about the thing that you posted, beautiful bear? The thing that said about mechanics being more conducive for non-combat gameplay? That's what you were talking about, right? The non-conducive for non-combat gameplay part? I saw that.
Right, and I was like,
Oh, okay. Yeah, if it's too long, Twitch does not like that. Yes, I think there's something to that, beautiful bear. Although I will say that one of the measures, again, this is where I'm really impressed with 5th edition. If you've watched any of the Adventures in Middle-earth stuff that we've done, I would say that campaign has been, like the last session we did 0 combat. The session before we had a combat, the session before that, no combat. So we've had a number of sessions, probably, I would say out of the 13, 14 sessions of Adventures in Middle-earth, we probably only had combat in like 5 of them, 6 of them. So Adventures in Middle-earth is much more story-oriented, much more narrative-oriented. I think there's a lot of political intrigue and other stuff within the D&D stuff that I do as well. But I think it's a measure of how strong 5th edition works as a system that Adventures in Middle-earth works so well to convey this beautiful feel of Tolkien's world where there can be combat, but it tends to be deadlier and much less frequent. And that suggests that the system itself can handle a less combat-oriented thing. So I think you're right that it's more a choice of flavoring than anything else, but not because D&D is inherently, this edition of D&D is inherently combat-driven. I don't think it has to be. I just think that's kind of the way that they write some of it. But as I say, Storm King's Thunder, to a certain degree, certainly The Rise of Tiamat, less so. And my understanding is Curse of Strahd, which I'm going to be doing with Infinity and Beyond next. My understanding is that has even less combat in it. So we'll see. I think it's important to have a balance, but personally, my favorite thing is the role-playing and the political intrigue, not as much the combat. But I like combat, but not as much as the other things. So, I don't know. It's a balance. Yeah. Yes, no, I agree with that, Beautiful Bear. If the way I would put it is, if you're having to constantly house rule and fight the system, then the system itself is problematic for your game, right? If you're constantly having to basically shoehorn and jury rig things and having to fight the system to make it what you want it to be, then you're using the wrong system. See, I don't have to fight 5th edition. 4th edition I did have to fight. 5e I haven't had to. And 3.5, I think if I had really DM'd it, I would have had to fight also. 5e, I really haven't had to do that with. So, again, you know. Exactly. Exactly, Beautiful Bear. What? Yeah, and the average tabletop player, then they like to be all clever and be like, you know, like, what I prefer is GURPS, or really Fate is the best system, or all this stuff, and then they throw out some names. Not, you know, realizing, of course, that none of those systems exist in the first place or even get off the ground without D&D. So, but sure, I mean, there's plenty of other systems that are functional and don't work very well. I just happen to, you know, the Amber role-playing system is really interesting too, a whole diceless system. So there's other systems that can work. I just, I don't know. I like D&D, the 5th edition especially. Yep, that's exactly right, Thor. Blood and wine. And I'm in an undisclosed Starbucks, Thor. That's your question. That's it, Beautiful Bear. Exactly. Exactly. I don't want to just read the manuals. Like, it's cool to look at them and read them, but I don't want to be like, huh, that's interesting. Now I'll put that away because I'm never, ever, ever going to, you know, play with anybody. I was actually, did a panel at ReaderCon about game manuals as literature, which I thought was interesting, but a stretch. Like, I'm pretty broad-minded when it comes to what defines literature. Making a game manual, like a player's handbook style thing, literature, I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I was referring more to RPG, like tabletop RPG manuals, Thor, than I was the other ones. But yeah, I mean, look, the Adventures in Middle-earth Cubicle 7 supplements are super good for that. They are beautiful. The Rovanian region guide, there's like really, really good stuff. But I still think it's a stretch to call that literature. But yes. But I agree with you, though. I do like and I kind of miss those long game manuals, actually. But because they're fun, not because I thought they were great literature. Oh, I forgot my cookie bite.
Okay. Get really good benefits. Really good benefits. Yes. The money isn't bad. It's like 14 an hour or something like that. Not bad. Like not. I mean, not good. But no, but not bad. But full hours. Yeah, but I mean, like that's what I'm looking now. Like the way that it, you know, but I considered it or whatever. So I was just saying something about it out loud. And Zara was and I was like, Zara. Beth. Zara. Beth. I was like, yeah, but now I know that that's what's like. Wait, what is that?
Sorry about that. I forgot I didn't have it muted. Yes, they are different. Again, like it's like reading a gazetteer or an encyclopedia or something like that. It's very interesting and it builds lore and all that stuff, but it's not a story as such. And so literature, like I say, it's a stretch. Yes, you can, Shingen. Yes, you can, and in fact, it's good practice to try that. In fact, when you get into a extensive dialogue, especially if it's between two people, it's not necessary or actually even good writing, in my opinion, to have he said, she said, he said, she said, he believes, she believes, he did, he did. It gets tiresome. So sometimes you just need the lines of dialogue, and that can have the effect of bringing the reader right into the conversation, where the writer himself or herself kind of drops away, and you're just watching the performance of the two characters on screen. You do, however, need to be careful not to run into what we call white room syndrome, where you just basically can have two like floating heads talking to each other in a white room, which is not interesting. All of a sudden it's like you're unmoored and you forget where you are in space. So although it is good to be able to zoom in on dialogue, you also want to be able to occasionally remind people of where we are in space and time, so that people, when you do say so-and-so stood up, people aren't like, oh yeah, that's right, they're in a restaurant or something, or they're in a subway or whatever, as opposed to them feeling like they've just been sort of thrown off suddenly. So yes, you can absolutely convey character emotions through dialogue, and I think it's a good idea to do that, as long as you seed the conversation with certain moments that remind the audience of the environment around them. And that's really just a feel thing in terms of when you do that. A guy who's very good at that, actually, is Hemingway. The story Hills Like White Elephants is one of the best examples of that you'll ever see. And I'm not a huge Hemingway fan, but Hills Like White Elephants is a brilliantly written story to convey emotion and meaning with almost, I won't say exclusively dialogue, but with heavy amounts of dialogue. So, yeah. Yes, that's a good way to look at it, Shingen. Yes, keep the scenery blurry. It's more, keep the scenery, you're not referencing all the details, right? You just have a single detail, a single detail, a single detail that you throw in on occasion, as opposed to they leaned back in the wooden chair and looked around the busy cafe with the baby in the distance and the picture and the thing and that, like that sort of thing will pull people out of the conversation. So just he leaned back in his chair can be enough to remind the reader, oh yeah, we're sitting talking to each other across this table, and then everything else can be filled in accordingly. So. Not really X5. You could re-release Drift, but if we wanted to re-release it, we would have to come up with an entirely new edition because there are physical copies that exist, and the digital copy would need to be repopulated on iTunes and Google Play and places like that. And I wouldn't want to do that, honestly. The only time I would do that is if I released if we did like a remastered edition of Drift or something like that. But otherwise, no. But there's some songs that we actually thought about putting on Drift. One of them in particular called End of an Era, which is going to be showing up on this third album that we're almost done with. And so some of that stuff it'll get its play, eventually. Why? Is there one you'd want to add to it? Oh, I got you. Okay. Thank you, X5. I'm trying to decide if Alchemist still has the most specific connotation of being someone who specifically works on turning things into gold, and in which case I should use Chemist, or whether Alchemist is now going to be seen by people as general enough as being someone who brews potions generally. I could also say Apothecary. What do you guys think? If you hear Alchemist, do you immediately think person who makes potions, or do you think person who makes things that help turn turn things into gold? Because I could also use Apothecary and just skip the whole business. Yeah, that is how you see it? That's kind of what I thought. Yeah, here they'll think of it as potions. Yeah. That's what I was curious about. Okay. Right, right. Basically, I'm wondering what, from your guys' point of view, if you hear alchemy, do you think potions or do you think turning into gold? Because the medieval construction is turning stuff into gold. Yeah, this thing about I saw you guys talking about that. I do not actually say a lot. The particular thing you're referring to, which happened at the presentation that I was doing at the Bergen Science Fiction Association, that's done on purpose, and it's done because when you're trying to gather a connection, let's say, with your audience, one of the things you can do is to sort of make your speech a little bit less formal. And there is a sense that you bring people in by talking about, in fact, if you listen to commercials, you'll often hear this, where people will sometimes, actors will add in an extra or something like that to make them seem more, in quotes, real. So that's what I was doing here. So while you guys were in the midst of, the long-term critique of speaking style, I was doing that on purpose, but I don't actually say it all that much, except when I'm talking with people and I'm trying to kind of stop and think. There's a cultural aspect to that too. Israelis tend to use, instead of like this. So blah, 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 like that, instead of and there are other versions of that elsewhere, so. Oh, during the Middle-earth D&D? That might be. I mean, also, I sometimes do it if I'm also constructing stuff in my head, so I might have been also thinking about role-playing in that environment. It reads like a screenplay. Right, Shingen? That, like Hills Like White Elephants, feels as if there is some description, but not a lot. So you really get a sense of what's happening based solely on the discussions that are happening between the two of them. That's classic Hemingway. I was trying out The Last Wish to get a taste of his writing. I may read another Witcher book or two in the future. I could see myself doing that, especially one of the longer ones. But I have a couple of other books I have to read first. Next up on the docket actually is L.A. Modesitt's Imager, which I happen to get at World Fantasy. And then I have a friend of mine, Brian Young's book that I want to read. And then I'll look around and see what other, for pleasure books I want to read. At that point, I'll be in the middle of the semester. And I usually don't get a lot of pleasure reading done in the semester because I'm reading so much other stuff. So, but I really liked The Last Wish. I really did. I have really liked it. I'm almost done with it. I have really liked it. So. Okay. We can go for another probably 10 minutes or so, folks, and then we're going to close up shop for the moment.
It smokes like I'll feel red, but when I feel like I want it, and then I'm like, yeah,
This has been good. Still worried that there's not enough of a mystery angle yet. We'll see. I can probably play around with that.
and I can smell of it. You are so. So you have an orange. Yeah, I have an orange.
The male orange and the male have is the best. Thomas,
Although I have,
what's his name again?
you know,
Oh my God, yes.
it looks just like
How do I not know who
the Avatar. It looks just like, so when we found it, Jane was like, oh, and I wanted to natural stuff.
Right, right.
And we, God, this is our off so much because he tries to control everybody and tries to control me.
What's up, Vision Shot? Yep, it's Hearts of Stone. Hello, hello. Yeah, I'm going to be getting back into it in the not too distant future, I think. I hope so, Thorg. Yeah, I hope so. I feel like it'll work really well as a series. I think it's going to work really well episodically. I don't think it would have worked as like a big epic movie, at least not to begin with. But in small bursts, I think it could do well. So yeah. Yep. That's a good question, yeah. Right, and where it's going to fit in. Are they going to be working with the game people? Like, it'll certainly be a big boost for more Witcher stuff. I know CD Projekt's working on Cyberpunk, but I mean, let's be clear. You all know as well as I do, The Witcher 4 is going to happen. There will be a Witcher 4. There's no question about it. There's way too much money that came out of Witcher 3. The question is when. And it's not going to be immediate. But, if this series came out and they were getting a boost, I could see them redirecting some resources in that direction. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that Vision Shot, for sure. Yeah, it's tough because I feel like so much of what works about The Witcher, about The Last Wish especially, and The Witcher games is Geralt, because Geralt is such a cool character. I could see them doing something without it, but I am worried about the Mass Effect Andromeda effect, because I feel like part of the problem with that game, there are multiple problems with it, but part of the problem with that game is that not just Shepard, but the whole cast was so iconic in Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 that Mass Effect Andromeda just feels like, who are these people? You know, like you really need to work hard when you have an iconic series of characters on establishing new ones, and you do that really by handing them over. For example, in Star Wars, I think they've done a good job in establishing Rey and Finn and that whole new crew, Poe, that whole new crew. But they've done that by having those integrated with Luke and Leia and Han and Chewie and all that stuff. So they've had a chance to pass the baton instead of just, nope, here we go, totally new, fresh characters. That's hard to do. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they handle addressing it and make a new fourth character. And yes, I forgot him. Thank God. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Kylo. But I was thinking about sort of protagonists you could identify with. But yes. But even that, I mean, Kylo is tied together with Darth Vader, obviously. So there's got to be a handoff there, and rather than just a clean break. And you know, that was part of the problem with Mass Effect Andromeda, I think. And it'll be interesting to see how they handle that in the case of The Witcher. He's got nice muscles, yeah. Yeah. We are going to be talking about later this month, I should say, guys. I don't want to announce anything yet, but there will be a discussion of this movie with some other people on Twitch in the not too distant future that yours truly, may be involved with. So we will make an announcement about something like that soon, and you'll be able to get all your shirtless Kylo Ren hate out at that time. I love The Witcher OST. This one and Jeremy Soul's ones for Skyrim and Oblivion and Morrowind and all that stuff. Those ones are the big ones, especially Skyrim, are the two big ones for me when I'm writing on these streams, just because I find them really atmospheric and all that. I know, Chewie the chauffeur. What's up, Kookie? And yes, I agree with you. See, I thought Adam Driver's a good actor. I still don't know. Well, again, I don't want to get into this too much. I still don't know whether I feel like Kylo. I still don't know if I love Kylo as a character yet. I don't know that I really. But he got better. I really did not like him in Last Jedi. In Force Awakens, he got better in this one. He might grow into it. I might feel like by the time we get to the third movie, he might have grown onto it. So. Yeah, exactly. No huge starbase this time. He's also the most realistic Star Wars adolescent villain, too. Thank you for the follow vision shot. Welcome to the Arbonauts. Well, have you seen on Twitter? Oh, you were talking about Chewie. Oh, yes, that's true. Have you seen Beautiful Bear on Twitter? Emo Kylo Ren. If you guys are not following or looking at Emo Kylo Ren's Twitter, you need to do that. It's really funny. It's really funny. Yes, yes, yes. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. That's very beautiful there. Oh man, okay, 5 more minutes and then we gotta close up shop here, guys. Time flies when you're having fun. But this has been productive. Now we're into Witcher 2, apparently. I actually didn't even touch it, it just is auto-playing these now, so that's fine. Man, Witcher 2 OST is okay, but man, Witcher 3 is so much better OST. I just love that stuff, like sounds like a Bulgarian women's choir. My father was really into the Bulgarian women's choirs, which had that kind of hey, la, 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 la. That kind of stuff is cool. Ah, will do. Witcher 3 is real good, Tobik. It's real good. Oh, cool, Cookie. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, that was a fun time. Those were nice people. I didn't know what to expect, actually. I know that organization had been around for, I don't know, 30 years or something. But they had a good, like, as I say, like 30 people show up, sold some books, had some good questions. So that was good. It was also longer than I expected because I was basically there for like, the whole stream, the whole session was like 2.5 hours. So it was fairly long. So it was cool. I was glad to do it. I'm doing well. I'm just finishing up the last couple pages of this short story, at which point I'm about halfway through the short story, so that's pretty good. Almost 1,100 words. It can't be any more than 2,500, so that's good. And it needs to be done by the 24th, so I will be able to wrap it. I won't be probably doing more of it on stream, although it's possible. And then after that, I will be submitting it, and then I'll be going back to my Winnie and Wormwood manuscript as well. So, good to see you, Kookie. Yeah, another like 3-4 minutes and then I'll close up shop here. Yeah, great, Thorg, yeah. Be one of my students occasionally, one of my not as good students that occasionally do something like that, you mean? I mean, creating your own game world, like tabletop or video game world, Cookie? Nice, dude. What is it about? That's cool, Thorg. Yeah, so Thorg, you played through all the Witchers, right? 1, 2, 3. So what's the world like, Cookie? You got 2 minutes to tell me. Nice, Kooky. Are you planning to use it as like a supplement type of thing? Is it just for homebrew stuff? Whoops, I don't know what I just did. Are you doing it for, are you planning to do like for homebrew or more than that? Nice. I really hope I didn't mess something up. I just hit some button that... I really hope I didn't screw up my keyboard somehow. Okay, good. Whew. I hit some button that, like, I don't know what it did, and all of a sudden it was not writing properly. Yes, I did. I did start on. Divinity Original Sin 2 on GOG. Yes. Yes, I did on Pen and Pixels. Yep. Yep. I did D&D last time, but I'll be going back to Divinity Original Sin on Tuesday. Okay, cool. Nice, Kooky. Listen, I love hearing that that's an inspiration for people, because that's really helpful. I mean, that's why we do it, right? Is for that reason. So, okay, guys, I've got to get set up here. I know I had to do the same thing, Thorg. Oh my God. I had to, when I installed something new, I had to uninstall, but I mean, technically, these were games I had already finished, but it was because I have, on my SSD, I want to just keep games that I'm kind of actively working on if I can. But anyway, so good stuff we had today, guys. We ended up with almost 1,100 words, so we're almost halfway through of this short story, and I am excited. I have more work I have to do, which I'll probably do some of tomorrow and Sunday. I got to finish it and get it to, it has to be submitted by the 24th, which is next Wednesday. And then hopefully we'll have enough of a mystery theme that I'll be able to use it for my Origins anthology as well. But this was good. And probably the next time we do one of these creative streams, I'll be working on my novel again. But I'm glad that I had a chance to do this. But that said, though, I do have to get heading out because I've got to pick up my daughter. Because I love her, and I'm her dad, and that's what we do. So I'm going to pick her up, and then I'm going to go off and hang out with her and get dinner and stuff like that. I will be at you guys, though, again, remember, this evening at 9 p.m. when I will have the Masters of the Dungeon show, which we've talked about, which will have myself, and which will also include Askren from Exploding Dice and Dave from the Digital DM, and special guest Accidental Legend, which is Louise Moore, who is a really cool, really good role player and dungeon master, so I'm looking forward to having her on the stream. And then tomorrow night, remember, we continue with the Infinity and Beyond crew as we continue that campaign, which is getting real good. A lot of stuff going on with these guys. They are all level 10 now and moving on quickly, so good stuff. We're starting to get to the point where I can see the end game coming, so that's going to be cool as well. If you guys like what you saw and heard, please make sure to follow the stream. Please make sure to support the stream by checking out the Steam group at !Steam group, YouTube at !ArtTube, Discord at !Discord. Don't forget as well about the Patreon right there, !Arftreon, sitting at 400. Love to see they get higher. That'll be good for both you guys and for the channel. And of course, subbing, that button right over there. Only $5 a month for you, but it definitely helps the channel, and it allows you to use that Arvin E, hype, that gold hype thing, so it's really helpful. But thank you guys all so much. It was a pleasure, as always, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, like we said, more announcements about my creative professional stuff coming soon. Super exciting. Can't talk about it yet, but soon. So more will be found. Thanks to all of you who made this a wonderful stream tonight. Thank you to my wonderful mod Thor, who is here today. Thank you to my wonderful subs, to Chaotix, to JRab, Kooky Canuck Nonstop, Uncle Elias. Thank you all. Thank you to my Patreon supporters as well who don't show up here as well. Thank you to Beautiful Bear, Chingan Man, Ekag, Fonz, Jagtris, Misawa, Marinda, Strump Stump, Taxa de Daisy, Tobik, Hugh Christensen, and Vision Shot. Thank you all for the new follows and all the hosts and all that kind of good stuff. And I will see you wonderful people on tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern for Masters of the Dungeon. Until then, thanks everyone. Keep writing. Love you all. And be good to each other. See you tonight.